This video is brought to you by Straight Goods News, Canada's alternative online news source. Visit straightgoods.ca.
You asked the government essentially for a specific answer on how much taxpayers are paying relative for this private sector lawyer. What did you think of the answer?
Well, I'm getting very concerned. What I don't want at the end of the day is the taxpayers to be dinged with a massive legal bill. Let's just be clear up front. We have Justice Department lawyers who are paid to do this work, who are fully equipped. Now we're being told when they're not qualified, they have to go to the private sector. I don't know anybody in the private sector who has a sign on their door that says specialist in parliamentary legal law when we have a whole department that does it. So what's it cost? Just give us that answer.
What do you think of the fact that they're not giving the number? I mean, I was just in a scrum where I asked again, and that number's not coming forward. Do you think that there's a possibility there's a number out there that's going to surprise us all? Shock and outrage?
If this number was a reasonable number, they'd give it. And that's all we're asking, because what we've seen again and again is the secrecy of this government, the fact that they're using taxpayers' dollars like they're the Versailles kings. I just think we should know in advance so we don't get hit with a massive legal bill to cover something that was a very distasteful exchange between the Prime Minister and his churches.
This should be covered by the Conservative Party, or who should
Well,
pay the bill?
we have Justice Department lawyers who represent the parliamentarians, the cabinet ministers, and the Prime Minister. They're sitting there, they're fully qualified. That's why taxpayers pay the money. I don't have a problem with the lawyers doing the job on behalf of a minister, someone who, in the course of their work, gets sued. But I don't see why we have to go outside, pay another law firm, have the taxpayer pay for that, and at least tell us what it's costing.
You're a first Prime Minister to seek outside counsel. You know, someone brought up an example of Romney before. Other Prime Ministers have sought outside counsel.
I think what's different here is we have a fully qualified team, and we just asking, what's it costing taxpayers? Because when we see the kind of bills that this government brings up very casually, they should be willing, at least, to reassure us. If there isn't a problem, great, but show us the money.
The party raised the questions about funding of the Conservative Party by engineering firms. You were the response was that Mr. Mulcair's former party had received $7,000. What do you make of this response?
You know, the poor Conservative Party, they really lost their mojo. They're throwing around bizarre side stories. The issue here is that we had 10 top executives at SNC Lavalin that put money into 2 dead dog ridings in Quebec, and that money was then funneled into key Quebec ridings. And one of those happened to be the riding of Christian Petty, who was in charge of all manner of government contracts. We need an honest answer. If there isn't a problem, why didn't Mr. Parody stand up and explain?
But do you not feel that Mr. Mulcair may have also benefited from this money in a previous political career, in a previous political situation?
I think what's really interesting is that the Conservatives are looking at other political parties in the past over donations. If they have anything to bring forward, then bring it out of the House. But this is the typical Conservative response where just a few weeks ago we saw they blamed us for their electoral fraud. They'll blame anybody. But why is Pierre Poilievre, whenever Pierre Poilievre is speaking, you know somebody on the Conservative side is pretty much busted. So I would say, Mr. Parody, come clean with the Canadian people. This money was put into 2 dead dog ridings by 10 top SNC executives, and it was funneled mostly into riding that Mr. Parody was in. Why was that allowed to happen? I think they should learn some lessons about it.